right, divorce part two. I sent myself a second email, which was my response to the guy that is sad about getting a divorce. And this is my response to him. But this is what I wrote on the comment section of "My Spouse is an Idiot." If you Google that up. All right. We all have a cross to bear. I hope that you will live at least close enough to keep seeing your kids as daily as possible. Children really do need dads. I've been Baker acted twice myself. Once I kicked the bedroom door that the kids were slamming, and what happened there, I got upset because the spouse had moved my tools. At first I went to stop them. No, I went to get my tools when I heard them slamming the door, and one was inside, one was outside. Didn't want them to get their fingers hurt. So I went to get my tools, but they were moved by the spouse. My tools are right next to my bed, by the way. And well, in this tiny room, I have them in the closet, but when I lived in her living room, they were right next to my bed. And she moved them. So for 2 years, I had been unhooking the hinges and taking the door down. But this time I said, I'm done with it. I'm going to kick it. And so I kicked it 3 times because 2 times didn't do anything. And it's cardboard. But the third kick finally went through and made a hole. And I left it like that. And the police took me away. So it would have been all right if I grabbed the belt and hit both kids, but I don't hit my kids. I don't hit the spouse either. I don't hit my mother either, you know. So that would have been legal for me to hit the kids, because in Florida, corporal punishment is not against the law. But kicking a door when you're upset is not against the law either, but you can get Baker acted, which is you get taken away into a hospital jail and they put pills down your throat, and you can't add 16 plus 7. I mean, that takes you a while to get the answer. They slow down your brain with those pills. I took them because one nurse said, if you don't take them, they'll inject them to you. So the first time I got Baker acted was for slamming the door and kicking it, or preventing my kids from hurting their fingers. The second time, the spouse lied. I was homeschooling my son with the spouse's permission. But then my mother, started telling her, oh, your DCF is going to come take your children away because you're letting a crazy man homeschool your son. They're probably on their way right now. So my mother took the spouse, well, the spouse drove, but anyway, they took her to the courthouse. My mother wrote down things that I heard things, I see things, and then had the spouse sign her name to it. It's called an ex parte paper. And the only thing I had been up to, because back then I still did irritating things. I had donated 2 TVs. Now I had not cut the wires. I had not cut like before. I had not picked up the TV and slammed it on the ground. I hadn't done any of that. Because when I got Baker acted the first time, the doctor says, oh, well, what he did say was, you hit the car with a bat. What's going to stop you from hitting your wife with the bat? I didn't get a chance to tell him, but I would tell him now. It's illegal to hit the wife with a bat. So I wouldn't do it. And the reason I hit the car with a bat 2 weekends in a row was because every weekend she was yelling at me. And so I said, all right, when you leave, I'm going to hit the car with a bat so that everybody can see how you treat me. You don't like the car looking like that. But I guess that's called bullying, even though it's my car in my name and, well, her name also. But guess what? When she sold it, she didn't need my signature. She sold it. She got the cash. It was all in her. So I thought when you bought a car with two people and, you know, two owners, half 50-50, that she would need my signature, but she didn't. And so the third weekend I didn't hit the car with the bat because she said, I'll call the cops. I said, okay, I won't hit it. So I wrote on it. And she took it to work, and they took pictures. Her co-workers took pictures. I will speak softly to my husband. I will not yell. I wrote it with a permanent marker. But someone cleaned it. And apparently that was not illegal. So what do you do when you live with a spouse that's grouchy, she yells at you? You move out, but I'm not moving out because I love my kids. Well, I love both, but I only hang out with one of them, the one that's respectful. Alright, so now I stay in my room 95% of the time, and I've got a few years to stay here until my boy is big and strong enough to block his mother's hair pulling, because she pulls his hair, or grandma, she hits him with the belt. To explain about grandma, the daughter has been slamming the door for 2 years, her bedroom door. The boy did it once this year, and grandma grabbed the belt and hit him. Yes, she left a red mark on his butt. What does that tell you? That tells you that the women treat boys, children, differently. That's what that tells you. Now, I didn't call the cops on grandma because I had already put her in jail one time. Because she didn't say good morning to me about 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago. I was 37, I think. So grandma, what she did was, the neighbor was here and they were both talking, and I got up from sleeping, right? And I went to the living room and I said, good morning, neighbor. Good morning, mother. Both of them ignored me. So I said, oh, you're going to ignore me? So I was going to cut the tree anyway, this tree back here in the backyard. I cut it. Grandma chased me around the tree because it took a while for the tree to fall because she caught me cutting it. It was an sour grapefruit tree. Not oranges, but the opposite. Sour ones. So I never liked it. And then every time I cut the grass, I used to catch a branch on my head. So like I didn't like that. And it wasn't tall enough for me to hang my hammock. So I didn't like that either. And it was in the way because I wanted to put a garage back there. At least a shaded roof area. Since then I've changed my goals. All my goals now are way different. Nothing to do with this house, which I thought was ours, but it isn't. It's the woman's. So then grandma chased me inside the house and she threw 2 knives at my feet, but one of them bounced off my chest. She threw it like a frisbee. So then I said, okay, so I called the cops on her. And I was cracking up, laughing all the time, but then when she hit me in the chest, I didn't like that. Bounced off like Superman, hit me on the rib. Only a little speck of blood came out. The amount a mosquito would get. So then I prayed to my God to let her out of jail. I went to the courthouse to drop the charges. I filled out a paper that said I dropped the charges. So that's why I didn't want to put her back in jail. I think she lost 30 pounds in 47 days she was there. And she mentioned how another woman was in there with her, and the other woman had her bunk above, so the other woman would step her foot right on my mother's nose to climb up. And then finally at the end, when my mother got released, the other woman said, "How come you never picked a fight with me?" And my mother said, "I'm already in trouble, and that's why I'm in here. That's why I didn't fight you." So that's what happened. But then, of course, my mother got back at me, right, by Baker acting me the second time, the spouse the first time. I did call 4 times in 12 years. I called 4 times to the police whenever the spouse was throwing my books all over the place or throwing them outside. But the police, they don't take the woman. The only way you can prevent all of this is to live alone. And if you have kids, that's great. Have your spouse come over or your girlfriend come over, make love to her, and then she spends one night, that's fine. Then she's got to go to her place. She has kids. Great. Every day call and go visit or ask them to come over. But don't live with the woman. And they stop withholding sex from you, you know. They stop giving you sex. They start withholding sex from you. So just don't live with them. Like I told this one, don't come to my room except if you're going to give me sex or to tell me something about the kids. Otherwise, don't come over here and offer me, knocking on my window and offering me food. I don't want your breakfast. All right? When I want food, I'll go ask you for some food, or I'll go into the kitchen, the main kitchen. But there's only one thing I want. I want my woman naked right here. That's it. I don't want to deal with any. If you want the grass cut, you know what you got to do. You got to be nice to me. Otherwise, forget it. Go cut your own grass. I remember when the first minivan broke down, it was because nobody checked the oil. And I had told her, "Come on, let me show you how to check the oil." She says, "No!" All right, well, you're going to freak out like that. All right, then. So now, she checks the oil all the time on the minivan, every weekend at least. All right, take care of yourself. Be better than I am.